Welcome to Salesology, conversations with sales leaders, the art of faster, easier, more profitable sales. When you're ready to transform your sales for today's transforming market, we've got you covered with your host, the queen of cold calling and founder of Salesology, award-winning author, speaker, sales trainer, and coach, Wendy Weiss.
Hi, welcome to Salesology Conversations with Sales Leaders, the art of faster, easier, more profitable sales. And I'm your host, Wendy Weiss. I am the founder of Salesology, creator of the Salesology prospecting method, and I'm also known as the queen of cold calling. Today, my very special guest is Sultan Semlali. His company is Value Coach. That's his title too, Value Coach. And he's a value consultant specializing in sales strategy and value-based selling. He's the founder of valuecoach.com, which is an organization dedicated to optimizing sales processes and enhancing revenue through strategic training and consulting. Sultan's expertise and innovative approach have made him a sought-after speaker and consultant, transforming businesses across various industries. Sultan currently leads the global value consulting team at Sitecore, which is a digital experience platform. He has over 20 years experience in sales, consulting, and marketing with companies like Salesforce, Adobe, EMC, and Oracle. So welcome, Sultan.
Thank you, dear queen of cold calling.
Okay, for our audience, I just got a very nice bow. So thank you for that. We always begin at the beginning. Let's begin there. How did you become a value coach? What's the backstory?
The backstory. So I always wanted to be the Sultan of value, but it's a long journey. But it started actually. It's a journey I started, I think, 1.5 or 2 years ago, when, based on my experience and the honest struggle that I had when I started my career in sales, when you had some deals that slipped and your manager is asking you the golden question, which is, did you showcase the value? And I had a blank answer above my head, the question mark. Yeah, I think so. And not understanding actually that the value is way more complex than just a number or one thing. And across my experience at those different technology companies, I have seen what great looks like. And I took upon myself to actually share some of those findings, some of those techniques, and how high-performance tech companies actually are promoting the value, are positioning the value, are building those value stories, and make it, I think, easy for most people to be able to provide value to the customer. Because at the end of the day, a customer has a hunch, they want to do something, and I believe that sales professionals are here to guide them actually to the process of solving the pain they have, as they are selling software every day, and customers are only buying a solution once in their life or once every couple of years. And so our role is really to guide a customer understanding the value and coach them through that.
Okay. So what exactly does value selling mean? Or what does it mean to be a value coach?
It is about being able to translate what your product or solution will bring to your client. And Bain & Company published a very interesting study in 2018. It was based on a Harvard Business Review report, where they looked at the definition of value. And so for you, value might be an ROI. It might be a good price. It might be a discount. But what they have discovered is that there are actually 40 different levels of value. And they have put them into a pyramid of Maslow. I think you're familiar with the pyramid of Maslow, so the pyramid of needs, where at the bottom you have the basic needs like shelter, food, And the higher you go into the pyramid and to the top of the pyramid, you get to more, I would say, non-physical needs, but self-realization, religion can be there, and a lot of things can be actually towards the top of the pyramid. And I've done the same thing, and showcasing that good price, ROI is something that you would have at the bottom, but at the top, it will be about belonging actually to a group of customers that are using a quality product. It can be growth and development because I'm buying this solution. It will help me become a better person. All those areas actually are there. And so when you want to be a value coach, you want to have that at the top of your mind, that if you are meeting a customer, maybe the purchaser will be looking at a good discount, but the CEO will be probably looking at something completely different than somebody else that will be using the machine, for example, on the product line. And so value is different for everyone, and a value coach helps to translate that and make it easy for everyone to understand the value.
Okay. So something I'm really curious about is a lot of people talk about value, talk about selling the value, provide value with every touch, every connection. But if you're managing a team, or even if you're a solopreneur and you're the one that's doing the selling, how do you know what that value is? What is the process before you offer the value? Because what I see, a lot of clients come to us and, we're working on the front end of the funnel, we're working on prospecting. And the answer I get when I ask the question, so what's the value, is here's a long list of everything we do. So how do you get to the value so that if you're the business owner, then you're selling, you know what you should be talking about. If you're managing a team, what they should be talking about. How do you get there?
I think it's mainly hard work and preparation that you need to do. That's Abraham Lincoln that said that he's sharpened his axe for 9 hours before cutting down a tree. And that's really some work that needs to be done by the leaders from the organization. That's what I would advise. And then looking at their customers and their target audience, so target customer, which industry are they looking at? And then look at how does my product or solution helps to reduce cost? How does my product or solution helps to increase revenue? How does my product or solution help to increase productivity? How does my product and solution help to reduce risk? If you are able to come up with, for each one of those areas, 3 to 5 benefits or value drivers in those buckets, you're already probably 80% ahead of your competition, because you would be able already to have an idea of the impact. The second stage of maturity would be to knowing which industry you're playing with, to even translate that further. And so if you would be selling to a financial institution, you would speak about KPIs that matter to them. So cost income ratio and so on. If you would speak to a retailer, it might be about the footfall, how many people are coming to the store and so on. So depending on how far you are. But I would say the first thing, and many organizations still lack that, is just thinking, how can my company and my product help impact cost, revenue, productivity, and risk?
So what I heard you say is that there's work that needs to be done up front. If you're managing a sales team, it's not you've got the team and then you say to them, go sell. It's that there's this upfront work that needs to be done and things that need to be put in place so that your team can actually go and sell. Did I hear that correctly?
Absolutely. I don't know if one of my first roles was I was in inside sales, and they gave me the yellow pages and asked me to try to get some meetings with some customers. And I was just ringing, looking for, hey, do you have a project for that? And it was, I think it's probably not what you teach, I would guess.
No, it is not what I teach. I've seen it, but it's not what I teach.
No, indeed. And I would say at the end of the day, I was demotivated. I wanted to quit, and it was one of the worst use of time. And I think it's our responsibility as sales leaders to empower people and giving them the tools to have those conversations and make it clear for them, because otherwise they will come up with something brilliant or maybe not, and that should not be their role.
Absolutely. And, I have so many clients come to me, business owners that say they're ready to hire their first salesperson. And I say, great, what do you have in place for them? And often the answer is really nothing. So they're hearing it from me, and now they're hearing it from you. There is that upfront work that needs to be done if you want your sales team to be effective. And I was reading on your website earlier today that last year, 2023, 70% of sales reps missed their target goals for the year.
Yeah.
And that's a really terrible number.
Yeah.
What do you think the reason for that is?
I think that the reason is multiple. I think we are in a tough economy. I think we can all recognize that. And it comes down to, I think, helping to address our biggest competitor, which is status quo. And if we're not clear about the value we deliver to the customers, it becomes very hard to get them out of where they're stuck. So you have the concept of probably heard about the FOMO, the fear of messing up. I think almost everyone is afraid of messing up. So we don't want to mess up and make a decision. So if the house is not burning, I'm not going to buy anything. And that's how a lot of clients think. And we need to showcase them the value, what it means for their organization, but also for themselves. And if you really want to do a great job, it would even go towards helping them build a business case that they can, with confidence, being able to say, well, we decided to go with that vendor. This is what it's going to bring us over the next 2 to 3 years. And if you're not able to help them feel confident about it by building that together with them and not just throwing a number, which is something I see a lot, like, hey, if you work with me, you'll get 10 million additional revenue. Customers do not buy that. They might be intrigued, but will they use that to risk their career? Probably not. And if we are able to work with them on mapping the value again and making it concrete for them and see themselves as the great hero that they are, I think then you can reduce that number of reps and living in that terrible situation, not getting to the quota.
So can you walk us through the process of mapping out the value for that prospect that you're speaking with? How do you get them to get it?
Yeah. So what I try to do is, first of all, try to explain them how it's working. So if they're interested in something specific, you are the doctor, you are the specialist, so you need to be able to explain to your clients, this is how we're going to work together, and this is how we work, and based on our experience, you could try to do it differently. We're not sure about the outcomes, but we think that if we do this specific way, we have a bigger chance of success. And so we explain that these are the people that need to be involved in the purchase, and these are the benefits that can come from our product or solution. And then what we do, for example, at Sitecore, is that we use a value map. So the 4 quadrants that I talked about, so cost, revenue, risk, and productivity, we just share that with them. And we say, look, we believe based on our previous conversation that you have some value here and there. Do you agree on that? What about those other areas? And usually having that open conversation with them, it forces them to think about it helps to make the deal bigger usually to, oh yeah, actually we need to involve this person or that department. And then those conversations help us also to quantify and gather some numbers. So we're talking about productivity. So how many people are doing that task? 20 people. How many hours? What are the costs of such a person? Okay. And then we also try to quantify the benefit by looking at what we have done with other customers. And that's also a key thing. So when you have good customer case studies, you can use them to say, well, your peer has achieved a 10% gain in productivity. What if you only achieve 5%? And then you get a number. And if the customer buys into that number, then you have a stronger case. But it's really what we really do is we try to embrace a collaborative aspect to the business case.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is that you're getting agreement from that potential customer
Yeah.
on what their areas of value are. And then you're essentially doing some math.
Yeah.
So to be able to quantify an ROI.
Yeah. And it's always the way we need to, I think the way we need to work is our customers are way smarter than we are. So I think we need to embrace that idea that they're smarter. So we can share the framework and our way of thinking and guide them through it and showing like, well, let me show you how we do that, and we'll modify it together with you, and we build together a beautiful thing.
Right. So we are going to pause now for a word from our sponsor. When we come back, going to hold Sultan's feet to the fire. Love to hear some do's and don'ts of value-based selling, and also some before and after stories. But now we're going to pause for a word from our sponsor, the Salesology Vault. Just about every guest that I have interviewed on the Salesology Conversations with Sales Leaders podcast has had a free gift for our listeners. And that does include my special guest today, Sultan Semlali, value coach. And what we've done is we've taken all those gifts and we put them all in one place just for you. We call it the Salesology Vault, and it's packed full of free gifts from sales leaders, sales experts, marketing gurus, revenue generation experts. Every Monday, we release a podcast. And when we release that podcast, we add a gift. So you can log in as often as you'd like. You can download as many gifts as you'd like. It's all free. The link to the Salesology Vault is in the show notes. So as soon as you finish listening to this podcast, go to the show notes, click on the link for the Salesology Vault, download your gifts. You'll be glad you did. And I am back with my special guest, Sultan Semlali, who is the value coach. So we're talking all things selling value. Give me some do's and don'ts.
Do's and don'ts. Do from an organization is get your value map, your value matrix, however you want to call it, but get a clear value proposition that is not about we are the greatest and the best, and our competitors are really lousy players. It's not about you, it's about a client. We always say that. It sounds very cliche, but we love to talk about our stuff. So I understand it's human, but it's really about a customer. So what is the value we deliver to our customers? Do document customer success. So whenever you have customers that have achieved great success, document it, try to get numbers out of it, because this material is gold and will make your next deals easier. Another do is all about collaboration with your clients. Your client is smarter than you are. Let's be humble. They know better, but they don't know how to buy some software or product or whatever service you're offering. So we are here to help them go through that process, bring our expertise, but they know their company better than we do. So let's help them there. The don't is don't throw numbers at your customers just like that. Put a slide and put $10 million on a slide that the customer will be making in savings. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But I learned that big numbers bring big questions. So the bigger the number you throw, the more pushback you will get. So try to build something together with the client. And finally, probably to my younger self, when my boss told me the first time, did you sell the value? Did you showcase value? Ask your manager, what does he mean by value? And feel free to challenge them and maybe help them also build a better value story for the team.
Yes, I'm curious about your experience because I said this earlier in our interview, but almost everybody talks about selling the value. But often when you try and pin them down as to what that actually is, it's not really clear. Is that the experience that you have seen as well?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's hard. I mean, if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. So it's hard. But I think as a sales leader, to make selling value stronger in an organization, I think when we are doing forecasting calls, when we are talking, we're making deals review, we're reviewing customers, I think we need also to embrace those questions about the value, going a bit deeper. Not only did you make an ROI for the customer, but what is the expected value for the company, for your contact, for his career, her career, so the business and the personal value. And just talk about it. It's probably the most important thing we need to talk about.
One of the things that we do is have our clients interview their clients
Nice.
because it's really hard to know what the value is for somebody else if you've never spoken with them. And so we do before and after interviews, which help to define that.
Yeah. And you learn from it.
Because sometimes what you think is the value isn't necessarily the value.
No, that's true. I think sometimes we step in and we talk about the excitement full of something that completely irrelevant for the client.
So can you share with us some success stories or like a before and after? This is what the company was doing before. This is what they're doing now. This is what happened.
The magic. I think a great example was I was working with a sales team that was not really embracing value selling. So they were just selling the product. The product was superior to their peers. And the sales rep had a challenging meeting that was coming up with a leading sports brand. And the solution we were selling was an A/B testing solution. And what it does, it's actually helping to personalize the experience on a website. And also running A/B test, meaning you show a red button or a blue button and you see which one converts better. And those experiments really work and have an impact. And so the rep had an important meeting with a customer and she was afraid that the price was too high. So she was like, oh my God, I will step into a meeting. I'm going to charge them $100K. It's way too much. And then we just sat down like 1 hour before the meeting and we said, okay, well, what are we talking about? Yeah, well, $100K, it's a lot of money for just a single piece of software. But then what we looked is that brand was generating every month millions in revenue. So having this incremental impact that a solution can have, which can be like a 10% increase in conversion or even a 5% increase in conversion, the software will pay itself within a matter of weeks. And so by having this information, the sales rep become way more confident, stepped into the meeting and closed it pretty quickly. So being able actually, because she knew the value she was bringing to the organization, she knew the customer wanted to make some advances there. It made, the deal way faster to close. And I think if we are able to embrace that and do a bit of the math and think about it, we can probably sell our products at a higher price and deliver better value and better quality to our customers instead of always discounting.
Well, I like that story a lot.
Yeah.
So I know, Sultan, you have a gift. Actually, I think you have two gifts for our listeners. So please tell us about your gifts.
Yes. So I was told to try to give more value to people. So we try to live by that. I have two gifts. The first one is a ChatGPT for Sales productivity workshop. What it will give you, it will actually share with you how you can actually use ChatGPT as your assistant with a number of prompts that you can apply to your job as a salesperson around driving better discovery, but also building compelling value propositions. And already doing a bit of the work we discussed, the hard work we talked about, how do you map things? Well, you can use ChatGPT for part of it. It's not perfect, but if you have nothing, it's already driving your productivity quite a bit. And so we have this one, which is for sales leader or sales reps. And I also developed a quick scan or an assessment on how good your team is at value selling. And what it looks, it's by answering a number of questions, it will give you a score across different areas, such as discovery, ROI calculation, proposal. And by filling all those questions, you'll see your strengths and weaknesses. And as soon as you've done, we can book a call, and I'm more than happy to have an hour call to go through the results and maybe come up with some ideas and recommendations that you could apply for that.
Okay, well, I'm going to take advantage of both of those gifts. So we are putting the link for both of Sultan's very generous gifts. We're putting the link in the show notes. So as soon as you finish listening to this podcast, go to the show notes, click on the link, and take advantage of both of Sultan's gifts for you. And so to finish up, Sultan, if people want to connect with you, where can they find you?
They can find me on LinkedIn. I think that's the easiest. So Sultan Semlali, Semlali, or on valuecoach.com. But I guess you'll have the links into the show notes.
You just read my mind, Sultan. If you didn't have a chance to jot down Sultan's name, it's okay, because we're going to put the link to his website, and we're also going to put the link to his LinkedIn profile in the show notes. So as soon as you finish listening to this podcast, go to the show notes and click on his website or click on his LinkedIn profile and connect with Sultan Semlali. So this has been a great interview, Sultan. Would you do me a big favor and put your hand over your heart and promise me that you'll come back so that we can keep talking about value selling?
I'd love to, if you allow me.
Okay, well, we will plan it. And so to our audience, you have been listening to Salesology Conversations with Sales Leaders with my special guest, Sultan Semlali, value coach. And if you found value in listening to today's interview, please think about one sales leader, one business owner, one entrepreneur, somebody that you know that you think might also find value in listening to this podcast, And please do share the link with them. And until we meet again, visualize yourself surrounded by cash, really large bills.
You've been listening to Salesology, Conversations with Sales Leaders, the art of faster, easier, more profitable sales. Be sure to follow so that you don't miss a single episode. And while you're at it, please leave a rating and review, and be sure to share it with your friends. Tune in every week for more exciting insights and wisdom on transforming sales. And until next time, visualize yourself surrounded by cash, very large bills.